actually do a little impromptu live stream for counting down to the new year. And yeah, and I'm just drawing because my little epoxy craft. Let's talk about epoxy. Well, I'm sure people on a hair channel don't want to hear about epoxy, but anyway, I was trying this little epoxy craft, and you really need to prep before you do it. And it stuck, it fused to the mold, so I had to throw it away, and they were really pretty looking, but I wasn't going to try and keep something that didn't work. And I could redo the craft, but resin smells bad. And I really hated the smell of resin, and I was like, oh, it really smells horrible. I think I just had this thought that, oh, I want to try epoxy. It seems fun, but I don't like things that are extremely smelly craft-wise. So I'm gonna give all that stuff to my dad because he likes to do epoxy. And I don't know, whenever my other sister's down here, I'll just give it to her. She can take it to them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done doing epoxy crafts because why would I want to craft with things that smell? And I did a whole video on it, and it was it was just funny at this point. So I'm like, they were pretty, but they have to go to the trash because basically I had epoxy, like little ornaments stuck to little plastic clips. I should have bought silicone molds for them, and then you need some sort of thing to keep them from sticking, and then you also need, there were just a lot of things that I don't really like with a smelly craft. So anyway, I was actually not even going to be up when it turned midnight because I felt tired, and then the neighbors were playing music and I just woke up, so I thought, oh, I'll do a live stream. Why not? So yeah, I've been wearing my hair in a braid like this again. It's like this was just kind of a quick one because I feel like when I have more time to comb out my hair the way I like, I just feel like it looks a little bit better. That's my opinion of it. Let's see. I mean, it still looks okay, but I'm just not as big of a fan of it when it looks like this. So, yep. I don't know what the big deal about New Year's is. I hope people didn't go to big parties. Oh, somebody got down on me the other day. They said it was that I said something antisocial. Live stream. I was like, okay, but then they thought I wasn't antisocial, and I was like, that's just weird because, I mean, do people really want to get COVID? Is this like something that people actually want to get? I don't think you want to get it because even if you get a mild case of it, you could give it to somebody who could get a deadly case, and even if they don't die, they get weird symptoms. So I just, like, I'm not sure when things are going to get back to normal. I'm not going to say, like, oh, it's so soon, because they've been wrong every time, okay? It could be a couple of years, So, like, hold your horses. I don't know. Have a smaller group of friends. You don't need to go to, like, a big party. And I heard about somebody else getting COVID just recently because they were out partying at, like, places they shouldn't have been. So, yeah, like, it's dumb unless you want COVID, like, but whatever. I'm not taking those risks in my life. So people that are saying, like, oh, it's antisocial, like, I don't know. It's not antisocial. I actually think it's antisocial if you're purposely trying to get, like, a virus and spread it around. Like, that is antisocial. I mean, it's not 1998 anymore, so I don't know. 1998 was a better year than 2020. Maybe I don't usually go by years, but 2021 might be. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We shall see. But yeah, that's all I had to say about all that. And I've been just getting back into colored pencils, and I think I just really like colored pencils, or I love painting, or I like cross stitch. I like crafts that don't smell, but even with painting, like, I feel really picky about that too, because I won't use like mineral spirits or anything like that when I paint. I just want to use oils. I don't want to use anything smelly or too like with too much of a chemical stench, if you know what I'm saying. And even if you paint, like, I love the vibrancy of like oil paint, and I love the vibrancy of acrylic paint. But I just think, like, if you're okay with the more muted colors of watercolor, that's kind of cool too, because it doesn't have any like smell to it. So I just feel like, yes, I want things that don't smell, just like within the cleaning room, okay? Like when it comes to cleaning your house, vinegar. It's great for cleaning, okay? Vinegar and baking soda, because I had a dish. I made potatoes last night, and they, got a little burnt to the bottom because I left it in the oven. And what you do to clean it is you just get some vinegar, baking soda, and soap, and it comes right off. It's perfect. So this is what I'm drawing. And interestingly, I have an assortment of colored pencils. This praying one's not so bad. So I wonder what everybody else is doing. Like in the long hair realm, I think, okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I know I was just talking about crafts, but when it comes to long hair, I wanted to say something about long hair. I think long hair is relevant at all age groups, at whatever age you want to grow your hair. If you're able to grow your hair at any age, you definitely should. I think people that have always been interested in long hair had it, and they wanted to have it. And I like cultures where like long hair is accepted. Like in India, like having long hair is cool. Like people aren't like, oh my God, you're 40, you have to cut your hair. And I'm like, that's really awesome. But here, like, I think it's kind of becoming antiquated finally, but just in the West, like, I don't know where this idea is like, oh, people past a certain age, like, they can't have long hair. And I'm like, that's really silly. Like, where do people get these ideas? I'm just like, and even like for men, because like, I don't personally, I think it's cool if men have long hair. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I remember a few years ago, there would be women who would get really upset if a guy had long hair. Like in a work environment, like if somebody was helping them, like this one lady actually freaked out. She goes, "Why does that man have long hair?" And I was just kind of embarrassed for her because I didn't know what to say to her because I can't say anything. You need to be polite. But I was just like, oh, I was like, well, you have a nice day. I always just kind of end it like that because if it's in a professional environment, I'm not going to say anything, but like, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to let them know that I'm not going to discuss something that's not appropriate either because I was just like, that has nothing to do with a situation where somebody's helping you. And it was kind of weird. I was like, okay, so I think you can have long hair at any age. I don't think there's an age bracket. I don't think when you hit 30, like, oh my gosh, like you can't have long hair anymore. Or like if you hit 40, you can't have long hair anymore. Like people need to just grow out of all that phases. Or even if you're 60, like if you want to have long hair, have long hair. If you can grow your hair, you should be thankful because a lot of people can't grow their hair long. Like and they would want to. And if you can, like, why not enjoy it? It's all about enjoying what you enjoy. And if you like long hair, keep growing it. I know I'm going to keep growing my hair. And another thing, too, like when it comes to the whole trimming thing, I know I talked about that a little bit earlier. I think that's good if people are happy with trimming, but I just feel like, I don't know, is it becoming like an obsession? Um, lately. Like I feel like people are getting a little too obsessed with trimming their hair. Like it's good if you want to trim your hair, nothing wrong with that. But it's like getting to the point where I think, okay, so a few people trim their hair and then more people trim their hair and then it's like everybody's like, oh my gosh, I had to trim my hair because it wasn't good enough. And I was like, I don't think we should be comparing each other or just like saying, oh, like this person trimmed their hair and that inspired me. But that's my whole take on it. Trim your hair if you want to, But oh hi, how are you doing, Calgary Rambler? I remember you. But don't trim your hair just because like you see a lot of people do it. Personally, I'm trying to trim my hair less. If you want to trim your hair, that's great. But I'm trying to do it less because I want my hair to grow longer and I'm trying to get to calf length hair right now. So, and sometimes when I bend down, well, even with my braid, like when I, holy, let me see. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see because I'm at a weird angle right now. But anyway, like, so yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, it's almost New Year's. It's almost New Year's. I might keep going after midnight or I'll become a pumpkin. It's a joke, like Cinderella turning the carriage turning into a pumpkin. Oh, that clock is off. If I'm looking at the microwave clock, I have a really cool like retro microwave, by the way, because I like things that kind of have a retro look to them. Not that there were microwaves in the 50s. It just looks like it has a 1950s diner look to it, but it's a microwave. I'm just like, that's funny because there weren't microwaves in the 50s. Well, there might have been, and don't quote me on that. I'll have to look that up. But the average family didn't have a microwave in 1955. But it's a cute little just microwave oven, and I really like it. It has like kind of that diner 50s look to it, and it's red. And I always used to think my favorite color was green. Like when I was young, I always was like, oh, green is my favorite color. But then I realized I wear red a lot. Like years ago, I had a red dress and I loved it because it just really looked good with the color of my hair and my skin tone. And it got ruined. So then I bought another red dress a couple of years ago and I want to get more red dresses because I'm like, I love red. Like, red just really, there's just something fun about red. And I feel like I'm really vibing red lately. And like these glasses, they're more like a maroon red, but I like more like a blue cherry deep red too. Like I just really love red. So yeah. But my microwave clock is off. And I hope everybody had a happy new year in Calgary, which is in the Midwest. I think you guys are 2 hours ahead of us. So if you're I could be wrong, Alberta. Maybe you're 1 hour. You're 1 hour ahead, I think. I think you're Midwestern now. Alberta. I think you're mountain time, actually. Hi, Bipool. How are you doing? So it's almost midnight. And what are your thoughts on 2020? I didn't do one of those big videos like, oh my gosh, I hate 2020. I hate 2020. Because guess what? It's a new year, which is great. The whole idea of like the whole new year. Yes, that's wonderful. Yes, that's great. But here's the thing, like good things and bad things can happen every day of the week. And I think people get so invested in that. Oh, it's a new year, it's a new thing. I remember last year when it was becoming 2020, everybody's like, this year's going to be the best year, the very best year. This year went really fast, by the way. It went super, super fast. That's all I have to say about this year. Um, you know, the whole virus thing, that has made it kind of downward for me, like a downward kind of looking down on this year. But I don't want to hate this year because I feel like a lot of really good things happened this year. Like for me, my hair grew a lot and I worked on my hair goals a lot. And then come July, like it was hard because I thought I wasn't going to have a job anymore. And then I found out, oh, still have a job, but I've reduced hours. So yeah, that kind of reduced my hours at work and everything, but it gave me more time to just do things at home and work on my blog and kind of start working on things from home. Like I started doing more home-based things. So that part was kind of cool, you know? I mean, there have been ups and downs. That's all. I'm just saying, like, the economy part wasn't great. But everything else I think was pretty good. So it's almost midnight here in California. looking to see when the clock turns midnight. I have like a noisemaker from 2000. I have a noisemaker from years ago. This is like from 2000. It's a 21-year-old noisemaker. And I've always kept it. Great story behind this noisemaker. The year 2000 happened, and everybody was like, yeah, it's 2000. So we went outside my parents' house, and we were doing these and blowing our things. And then the one guy, the next door neighbor, he's like, F you, everybody. But he's mad because they were all happy and cheering for the new year. And he got mad. I'm like, what are you mad about, mister? You're like Mr. Party Guy. Like, I'd be doing my schoolwork and I'd look out the door and you guys would be playing basketball. I'm like, you in the middle of the day, you're grown men, not working, playing basketball, but New Year's Eve hits 2000 and you're so upset that people use their noisemakers. But yeah, I still have my noisemaker. Kind of cool, right? Anyway, so Happy New Year to everybody and have a great evening. And by the way, be safe, whatever time, day, year it is. That's not an antisocial thing. Like, don't go to big parties, okay? Don't be like mingling with lots of people. Like, try to be careful, be cautious. Like, until they know how to deal with this virus, you don't want to go crazy, okay? You really don't. Like, and I don't want people, I don't want people to be fined or the government to shut off people's water because they do stupid things. That's their own stupid choice. But at the end of the day, I think if you care about people and you care about yourself, you're not going to go out and go to big parties, okay? You're not going to be mingling with everybody. It's just you need to be safer. That's all. Like, that's a better thing to do. So I guess that's my only thought for 2021. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I think those are so hyped because just in the past, people will get so excited. They're like, oh, Happy New Year. And what's your New Year's resolution? And like, they just would get real invested in that. And then 3 weeks later, I don't know, like they're on to another thing. And they're just like, I, I think if you want to make changes in your life or you want to do something more positive in your life, like just plan to do that because you want to do that, not because it's a new year. Because just make that change. Like try to make better choices for yourself. And like I haven't had New Year's resolutions, but before the new year hits, I usually will change things. And I've been doing some more decorating and things like that, like with lights. So that's kind of fun. Like I thought that there were ways I could just make things more decorative and fun in my house. So that's the kind of stuff I've been doing. But anyway, have a happy new year. And I just like to do New Year's my own way. I don't like to be over the topsy with it because that's just not who I am. I'm just very kind of low key about these things. Anyway, have a happy new year.